Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is Saturday, Saturn Day, May 17th, and the energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 4 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. So when it comes to today's energy, I like that there's positive aspects being made to the moon, which is pretty good. So the moon is our inner world, our inner conversation, and positive aspects are being made to it as the moon is in Capricorn. But the positive aspects that are being made to the moon are ones that have to do with things that deal with, stability, security, things that deals with familiarity. So today is one of those days where we look around at certain things within our lives, things that have been a part of our world for a long time, and they bring in this sense of stability or security. Even if it might be a false sense of security, the inner world is in that space. But the T-square that's happening between Mercury in Taurus, Pluto in Aquarius, and Mars in Leo reflects a different kind of challenge that some of us might go through today. Also to Saturn squaring Jupiter in Gemini. So when it comes to the challenging aspects that are being made today, something around communication, where I think of the person that, like I said in a past video within this week, Saturn is ruled by Venus. So with Mercury in Saturn, some of us might have a hard time saying the hard things because Venusian energy is one that, wants to be diplomatic. So we don't want to say anything that ruffles any feathers. And then Taurus energy deals with comfort. So we don't want to have the uncomfortable conversations. And I feel like, a big part of this month of May is going to have a lot to do with that. The T-square ends though on Monday. Monday is the last day of the T-square that I've been speaking on. But since the beginning of May, I could feel that energy when it comes to my words. I could feel myself feeling like I'm held back when it comes to saying certain things. And that's the overall energy causing me to question what it is that I'm going to say. Because the overall energy, we don't want to create conflict and say anything that will disrupt the Taurus comfort. But either way, with Mars and Leo, we're motivated by self and we can't help but speak our truth. So there's the inner child within us that wants us to yell and speak our truth. And Pluto in Aquarius wants us to be honest with the people we're associating ourselves with. But again, our Mercury in Taurus, we want to say the things that are cutesy, that are demure, that are comforting. And for me, honesty is the best policy. And when it comes to honesty is the best policy, I'm not saying going around and telling people our truth, but being honest with ourselves. Because for me, honesty takes us out of the dark. Reflection, self-awareness takes us out of the dark of whatever our situation might be. And we have the golden egg energy comes out, and it comes out in the reversal position. And with the golden egg energy, my attention goes to this circle here, which would remind me of a 0. And 0 in numerology deals with possibilities. So whenever you see a 0 next to a number, know that number is amplified because the 0 brings an additional energy to it. That number is not standing on its own. It's being amplified with the 0, and it brings in any possibility when it comes to, the number it's next to. But with the golden egg also brings me to possibility. But when I think of the golden egg, I think of a seed, and I think of a blank it's like a blank check for me, where it's like you write the amount that you want to cash this check for. Where with the egg, like the seed, like the number 0, to me, it's you decide what goes in this egg. It's like you decide what seed you want to plant. So with this energy coming out in the reversal position, something about today's energy brings me to being clear and intentional when it comes to something. Because when we're not clear and we're not intentional when it comes to something, it brings me to that saying where if you don't know where you're going in life, any road will take you there. And I think that is a quote from, is it Alice in Wonderland? I'm not sure. But if you don't know where you're going in life, any road will take you there. And I feel like today's energy brings me to that. Today, the day adds up and reduced to the number 4 vibration. And the number 4 is one that brings in stability, security. And it's a disciplined energy. So for me, if we have the number 4 strongly within our chart, we have to become disciplined people. The number 4 energy, when it's operating in a lower frequency, this is where a person will sink with the ship. And I say sink with the ship in the sense that the number 4 could be such a committed energy to where it sinks with the ship. It's like, imagine the person who works on the ship, but they're not the captain, where I think the captain needs to be the last one to leave the ship. I'm not sure. But it's like, imagine the person who works on the ship and the ship is sinking. And while everybody is jumping on boats and rafts, they're not leaving because they're hoping that things will turn around and the ship will stop sinking. Just like the person's a part of the relationship and it's clear that the relationship been done 6 years ago, or they're working for the job and it's clear the company is closing and they're holding on for dear life. And, you know, it could look like, oh, this person is so loyal, that's why. But I feel like when this energy is operating in a lower frequency, we're afraid of change because the unknown is more scarier than the thing that we're dealing with. So the number 4 would remind me of the number 9 when it's operating in a lower frequency, where this is where we'll say that old saying, or stick to the evil that you know. Evil is evil, and, you know, rebuke all of it, get away from all of it. But, you know, with the number 4 energy and the day adding up to number 4 vibration, some things come up today. And whatever come up today, it has to do with your stability, your security. If there is something around your foundation that isn't secure, you're going to know about it. What comes to mind when I think of this energy, I think of, like, say, maybe the person that keeps trying to diet or whatnot. And it's like they find themselves continuing to fail because, yes, self-discipline might be something to understand, but maybe there's something else deeper that needs to be understood. And maybe it's something around emotions. And it's like, okay, what happens to you or what triggers you before you go on this binge, before you go off the edge? And it's like today's energy for me helps us to secure the foundation. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to jump into this lifestyle, it's like we secure the foundation so that we could enter into a lifestyle that works for us. An example that comes to mind with this is, say, for example, someone is a foodie here. And you have a goal, like I said, to, you know, maybe enter into a new lifestyle because what you were doing before wasn't working and you want something that's going to help your body to thrive. And to me, working on the foundation within this energy might be a person coming to the realization that, okay, whenever I get stressed or overwhelmed, I crave fatty, sweet, and salty. I crave fatty, sweet, and salty. So this is where a person will plan ahead. You know, it's almost like you'll plan ahead for your future self, and you'll make sure when you go to the grocery store, you have fatty options that are healthy. You have sweet options that fit your version of healthy, whatever that is for you. You have salty options that fit your version of healthy. And maybe your version of healthy is nothing processed. So for you, you know, you might say, okay, I'm craving salty carbs. And, you know, instead of junk, you might have some potatoes in the fridge because you're going to put them in the air fryer and you're going to make your own potato wedges or whatever. And that's going to be your comfort food in case if you need it throughout the week. To me, a day like this creates an opportunity for us to recognize whatever it is that we're feeling And instead of shame ourselves for what we're feeling or ignore ourselves for what we're feeling, see what it's trying to teach us about ourselves. And like I said, with the energies in the day adding up and reducing to the number 4 vibration, whenever the 4 is present, it's all about how could you secure your foundation? How could you, prepare for your future self? Prepare for your future self in the sense that if you're building this foundation by becoming this person that, lives a certain lifestyle, eats a certain way, it's like, how can you strengthen your foundation by being clear of your weaknesses and the things that causes your foundation to crumble? And today is one of those days that brings our attention to that, because with the day being the 17th, the number 7 energy brings introspection. There's something we need to understand deeply about today. But 1 plus 7 is 8. So today is one of those days where we could find ourselves going through video after video, or reading blog after blog, or watching shorts after short to understand something better. So this is where someone wants to go deeper into some foundational thing in their world and they're obsessing over information. And, we always say how, information is power, but it's the application of the information is power. It's like obsessing over information and knowing all we say we know. We truly don't know it if we don't apply it. And that's something that clicked for me because I like to escape reality through learning things. I like to escape reality through diving into different things. And I remember there was a time where I would, listen to audiobooks after audiobooks or read books after books. And I would never allow for an in-between pause to reflect on what it is that I've learned, or reflect on what it is that I watch, reflect on what it is that I listen to. It's almost like the person who's eating unconsciously. It's like you got a bag of chips and you eat the bag. And I've done this so many times. And for me, it would be popcorn, where it's like I ate one bag and I'm on my second bag. And it's like, honestly, halfway through the bag hit the spot. But after I got through half of the bag, I was unconsciously eating. And at that point, I was probably trying to numb something that I didn't want to feel. But anyways, I would do the same with information. And it clicked to me once that I keep consuming all this information, but it's almost as if because I never stopped to reflect it or to fully understand it, it's almost like it was like I'm pouring it down my throat, and it's like consuming food and it's not nutritious. And in order for the information to be nutritious, we have to stop and reflect and apply. And I feel like when it comes to today's energy, you want to make sure you're stopping, you're reflecting, and looking to see how you could apply whatever it is that you're binging or obsessing over. Because I think of how the number 8 energy is the infinity. And I'll see people with that whole infinity energy. And I like the infinity energy, but to me, it would remind me of a circle. And it's almost like the same energy. It'll bring me to like us being feel as if we're trapped in this matrix type reality. And the same things keep looping over and over and over again, where we'll look and we'll see synchronicities or patterns of like the same thing keeps happening over and over and over again. And those of us who are aware of patterns will notice the patterns when it comes to certain things, and it brings me to a circle or infinity energy, where to me a spiral is more freeing energy. And the spiral will remind me of like Plutonian energy, where there's a death and a rebirth, a death and a rebirth, a death and a rebirth, and something continues to grow and grow and grow and into, grow and 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 continue. Where it's like when I think of infinity energy, I just think of recycled energy and being stuck in some kind of a loop. But that's just one way of seeing it, where with the whole infinity energy, maybe whenever the crossing happens of the number 8, maybe that's where there's a death and the rebirth. But honestly, when I think of this realm experience that we're having, it just feels like a looping of time. It would remind me of like more like Saturn energy, like looping of time and, being trapped in this time loop. Where I think of like Plutonian energy, the death and the rebirth, and how, death, which appears to be the end, is really a beginning, and it's like a cleansing of energy. I don't know, it's one way of seeing it. When it comes to the tarot, we have the Four of Pentacles in the upright position. And the Four of Pentacles brings me to stability. It brings me to security. But the Four of Pentacles also brings me to like hoarding energy. And talking about the number 4 energy, those who are strongly associated with the number 4 tends to be the best savers. Like if you know any 4 people in your life, 4th month or 4th day, people who are born in the 4th day or life path 4s tend to be really good savers. Of course, other energies within a person's chart might change things, or say a person is a strong 4, but they got their moon in Taurus, and the moon in Taurus could cause a person to, you know, use retail therapy as a form of therapy. So they're constantly shopping. So the money is coming in, but they're constantly spending it. So they can't see that. But with just the number 4 by itself, the number 4 is normally a really good saver. But to me, it's more like hoarding when it comes to the numbers 4 saving. And that's because the number 4 fears homelessness, it fears poverty, it fears instability more than anything else. So when I think of a day like today, that is the 17th, 1 plus 7 is 8. And then the energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 4 vibration. Some things could come up for us around our stability, around our financial situation. And with the moon and Capricorn, positively speaking to say Sun, conjunct Uranus in Taurus and Mercury in Taurus, some of us could, you know, start questioning if we should pursue a certain path for the sense of, you know, the sense of security, because it's familiar, you know, and some of us might feel a little bit stressed on the path that we're on. And the path you're on might be a spiritual path, an entrepreneurship type path. And you just have to trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust the creator. And today is one of those days where some of us could find ourselves feeling triggered. And either way, for me, the trigger that comes up today, whether it's bringing our attention to how we need to strengthen our belief and our relationship with the creator. And for me, gratitude always does that, and reflecting on past experiences, or even reflecting on where you were a year ago. Would you want to trade places with where you are right now with where you were a year ago? And if the answer is no, shows how much you've grown. So it shows how there are reasons for you to be grateful. And for me, gratitude puts me in a good mood and strengthens my relationship with the creator. Let's pause for a bit. I am proud of the services that I offer and excited to tell you about them. If it would be your first time booking with me, then I recommend the natal chart and numerology awareness coaching session. For a while, that was the only service I offered, along with the 30-minute tarot reading, which is still available if you're interested. I noticed the pattern. At the end of the natal chart and numerology coaching sessions, some of you would ask me for a follow-up service options for additional clarity and guidance to assist you with whatever you're going through at the moment. I kept saying, I'll look into it. I don't know why it took me so long. Finally, I have created that option along with the service option to book a solar return chart reading for those of you who are strategic and like to plan ahead. Everything you need to know is within the description box below. Let's get back into the video. So with the number 4 coming up today, energies adding up, reducing to the number 4 or 4 of Pentacles, bring our attention to our stability and our security. And for some, gratitude might be something that is needed. For another, it might be time to reflect on your budgeting and how you're managing your finances, how you're managing your resources, maybe how you're managing your energy and time, maybe what you're saying yes to, are some things that could be coming up when it comes to today's energy and how we can bring our attention to our security, our stability, and help ourselves to feel more secure moving forward. But for me, hands down, we always want to, incorporate gratitude and strengthen our relationship with the creator through gratitude. That is super important. And I feel like that could be beneficial today. Pleasure sharing this message with you. Before you go anywhere, drop me a green heart in the comment box below. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.